guys, you're back with another video. This should be the 67 to 72 C10 bedsides. I'm going to make this as simple as possible. I know there's videos out there. They say a lot of numbers, a lot of measuring. I'm going to show you a way where there's hardly any measuring at all. So it don't get so complicated. I know. First thing you want to get is a couple of these squares. And I'll show you why. I got this older one right here that I cut off the top, and I'll show you why here in a minute. It makes things a lot easier. Little flat strap banding off like shipping crates or pallets, or you know, anything like that. Some flat banding. You can bend around the curves and stuff. But pretty much this is what I do on the back side. It's 8 inches. So what we're going to do here, first measurement you're going to make, and pretty much the only measurement you're going to make other than down there, is we'll come from right here around 2 inches from that pocket. And then once you get that 2 inches, we're going to use our little square here. We're going to take our marker. We're going to make a mark. Measure over 8 inches. Make your next mark or line. And then from there, we're going to grab our cutoff one. And I got it marked at 3 inches with the marker, so I know where to stop and make my little mark. And all you got to do is lay this up here. Make sure it's nice and firm. Come up here. Make your check mark. Come over here. Make your check mark. Draw your lines on both of them. And then from here, how to get this angle here. Because the reason we want this angle, if you look down this bedside here, there's a body line. And the body line ain't straight. It tapers. Well, when you relieve it like this, it comes better, like it comes back together better, like when you get it welded up, and that line won't look all like crooked. So this helps that line flow better when you put it all back together when you're cutting your bedsides down. So back to what I was saying, you know, you got your thing up here, your 3 inches, make your check marks, make your straight lines, so from there, void that out for a minute, don't think about that. I got this square. You see how we got our holes here? I got my first mark right there in on that first check. Then I've marked that up there. Pretty simple. Got 2 marks. So all you got to do from here is lay your square up there, line up your line, and then we'll come right up here, and on that tip I'll make a check. Same way, come over here, line up your mark, make your check mark. So now we got that taper. So what you do from there, you got your 3-inch mark to here. You'll bring your flat strap or whatever you got, you'll lay it in here like so, bend it around, and then you draw that line. And you'll draw this line. So there's no measuring really. Look, we just measured one time, 2 inches. This right here will help you get that perfect every time without measuring. I know some other videos tell you to measure from the back of this, wrap it all the way around and make a mark, this and that. Then you got to mark over here, do that. This is very, very simple. Lay it there, mark, mark. Go from your 3-inch mark, draw your line. This is going to be in the same location because you're coming from the same location. As long as that's nice and square on the back of that bedside, same location. So you know you're right. Make sure you get it at the very tip. Right there, just check it right there so you know you're in the same spot on your bed. So now we know we're the same. We got our 8 inches from here. I'll show you. You got your 8 inches. Got our 8 inches. Got our 8 inches. See? And now we got the angle, and that'll be an 8-inch in there. And then from there, pretty much all I do is if you bring this straight edge, get you if you got a carpenter square, all I do, so you know this is at the same point right here from this distance. So all I do is pretty much is lay that right there, line that up. Now we know that square on the bed. I make my first mark down it, line about halfway there. Same way here. You can see I got a little off there. Measure every once in a while, double check you got your 8. You got our 8. pretty much just get your straight edge. Make your first line all the way to the bottom. Then you know it. Then I always, like right here, when you start getting in these curves, it starts getting a little harder to make your straight line, so they start wanting to veer off one way or the other. It makes it a lot harder to get your next measurement. So I always just get my nice straight line, measure over down here, 8 inches, and then start following that with my flat strap banding. Line those lines up, line that line up, you know, just kind of like so. It's kind of hard with the video. And then start drawing my lines. And then I always double check the tape measure, make sure I got my 8, both sides. They'll start, the perception of this bedside rolling starts throwing your eyes off because angling and then it's rolling. So it looks like it's going crooked, but it's really not. Like I said, we got our 8. We got our 8. It don't matter really how you cut it, as long as you got your 8 inches in a straight line where you can make nice straight cuts. That's what matters the most. You can take 8 inches, you can come here and go sideways and 8 inches, whatever you want. But as long as you got your even 8 everywhere, when it comes back together, it'll be nice and easy. Don't get in a hurry. I've done it. And then you start having to fill up gaps here and there. You got to relieve cut it. It just becomes a nightmare. So take your time. Wasn't a whole lot of measuring. There's videos out there that you got to pay for. I'm doing this one for free. And all it, you know, there's a lot of measuring, a lot of confusion. And I'm trying to simplify this for guys with a couple little speed squares and a carpenter square, stuff you can buy fairly cheap at any hardware store, Harbor Freight, wherever. You know, if you got an old one laying around, do it like I did, cut the top of it off. They're cheap. I mean, they're like $7-8 a piece. And these bedsides are like, you know, $400 or $500 for a factory short bed or side. That's repop. And so take your time and you can get it. Save yourself a bunch of money. Well, I'll get you the inside. I'll show you how I lay out the inside. We'll get the front. We still got to do the front here in a minute. It's really simple on the front. It's just straight down it. I was rolling the edges. It's just too much work rolling the edges. I know, you know, it gets rid of that line. But I'm going back to cutting the fronts. It's quicker. The finish is better. And I'll explain why when we get down there. So I'll catch you guys on the front part, and then we'll get to the back side, and I'll show you how to lay out the back from here. I'm going to go ahead and cut this. I use tape. I'll lay this out with tape now. We'll come down and we'll lay this out with tape like so. Make sure we follow that tape line real nice. Just like that. And just and then once you get your tape line, always label it, which side you're going to cut. Do not, I always put the tape to the inside, or at least try to. The reason why is so when you cut this off, the tape just goes with it and you got to peel nothing off afterwards. And another reason, sometimes you can get mixed up and you'll cut on the wrong side of the tape. So always label, or you can really hurt yourself on that part. And make sure you're on the right side of the line. Double check with your tape measure after you get both your cut lines laid out. And make sure you got a nice even straight cut you're about to do. So I'll get back to you guys on the front side. Alright, we're now on to the front side. And here's what I do. You know, you come over about 1/4 inch off this pocket here. We make our first line. Draw that up. And then from there, you got my square again. Don't think about the 3 no more. That was just for down there. Now we're going to go 2 1/4. And on 2 1/4, I make my mark all the way down this, on down. And then I get my straight edge. And I'm going to draw my line from here. Well, step back for a minute and let's rewind a little bit. We're going to come off 12 to here. So you got your 12 inches because the front you take out 12. So measure from here back 12 inches. Make your next mark. You're going to draw that up. Now take your one I cut off, 2 1/4. And we're going to make a mark all the way down this. Just a mark here and there. You can't see them because I got the tape covering it up. Then we'll take our straight edge. This is all before you put the tape on. We'll draw this out all the way down. Now make your straight line. And then we finish off to here. And then I come about 1/4 inch off this edge. You can go a little further. Some guys go a 1/2 inch. Whatever. You can get your square blocks in there if you go a 1/2 inch. But I've never had a problem putting them together and getting them to flush out at this close. And then your cut line, your grind area, and the work you got to do is more to the front, almost to that rolled edge. So, and the reason I don't like rolling the edges no more is because this reason right here. This bed's got Bondo in it. And once you roll, if you got Bondo right down here, this bedside, and you cut this, and when you go to roll that Bondo is going to crack out, and then you're going to have a big old chunk out of your bedside of where that Bondo cracked because you started rolling it, and it's going to look horrible. And you're going to have to do a lot more Bondo work. You're going to have to round that. You're going to have to repaint that anyway. So if your bed ain't got no Bondo in it, and you know for 100%, yeah, go ahead and roll your end. And it's fairly simple to do it that way too. But sometimes it can be hard to get that to look real nice and straight. So I just do it this way. You can come back, put your skim of Bondo right here down it, nice and flat. Sand it back out. You still got to paint it anyway, or touch it up because you cracked out your Bondo, so you might as well just do it this way. That's the reason I go this way about it. So back to what I was saying. 1/4 inch off there, all the way down. Pretty simple. Get your flat strap and, you know, lay it up here after you got your 1/4 inch measured back. And then all you got to do is take your tape measure over 12, a couple spots, lay your straight edge up there, draw your straight line, make sure you label your cuts. Or, you know, you can get this square set at Harbor Freight. And this is the Harbor Freight one. I do got expensive ones, but I rarely use them out here doing bedsides. When I used to be a fitter welder in a shop. And this is 12 inches already, perfectly. So all you got to do is pretty much is lay it up here. And you got your 12. Make your mark. Go down. Make your mark. Make your mark. Make your mark. All the way to the bottom of the bed. Follow that line. You got your 12. So what you're going to do is you're going to come here, cut this, cut back, and cut down. That way you can get around this pocket. You can be all the way to the front. Some guys just come right here and will cut right down right here. Man, I'm going to tell you what. Closer you to the front, the less warpage you're going to get. Same way with the back. So I try to get the farthest back as I can. And there'll be less warpage. It ain't going to... I've seen guys come here and their beds are just peaked in so bad. And a lot of Bondo. This one minimizes that. I mean, it ain't going to be... I'll show you the after video. It's going to be darn close to most of the time a skim of Bondo. The back, it warps a little more because you can't get so far back. And the reason on the back, if you come back here, I'll show you why. Is this bedside starts to round right in here. You can see that curve. So I really don't want that panel to disturb that. So I come out far enough where I don't disturb that. And on another note, this is a 67 bedside. I forgot to mention this earlier. 68 and up does have a marker light. So you're going to have to compensate for that. So what you're going to have to do is when you're coming down here, you come to that marker light, you'll run into it. Go about 1/4 inch up on that marker light. Draw your straight line down, and then you'll just make it again right here. And you'll cut out that, leave that marker light setting inside this panel. That way you can go around that and you weld it back up and you weld the marker light back up. And I'll probably do another future video on just a marker light, how to go around that when I get to one. I just wanted to get the basics of a 6772 bedside to you guys. Show you how I've been doing it. Like I said, it ain't that much more complicated. You just got to make another straight line, just quarter inch around that marker light lines. Draw it out. Place your tape so your tape would look like this. And then all you got to do is make the tape look just exactly like that, the same. And then that marker light will come into like a puzzle piece of this panel. But I'm going to get these cut out. What I usually do, personally myself, I'll come with the grinder, cut it, and then I'm just going to come right here and cut that off. Same way on the front. Cut it off, get this panel out of the way, because it'll be sitting there flopping around. And then we could flip it over, and then we'll be on the back side, and we can finish from here down from the back side. And I'll get to when I get to that, I'll show you how I lay that out. And we're going to drill up some pockets. 67 to 72 short beds, or 73 to 87, any of them don't have a center pocket. So what we'll do is we'll drill this pocket out, knock it out. I got some little pieces I burned off on the burn table, little filler pieces. We'll be filling those pockets to make it like a factory short bed. So I'm going to get to the cutting these, and then we'll get to the inside. Alright, here we're on the inside back, and how we're going to do this, if you can see, we're pretty much just going to cut out an ear to limit it, to make where there's not so much of a cut line down this. Usually there's a cut line all the way. Well, I figured out a different way to cut them where you don't have a cut line all the way. You will have one from here to here. And how we're going to do this is pretty much you're just going to measure up from the bottom 2 1/4. I'm sorry, not 2 1/4. Sorry about that. 3 1/4, and make you a mark. And on over here, we're going to come 4 1/2, make you a mark. And what I do to follow this line, this one all the way through, is I'll come up here, draw it, and then I'll put my straight edge right here with this, and then mark this right here. Or you can just measure back 1 5/8 all the way down, make your mark, make your lines, and then while we're going to be cutting out on this is this section right here. But we will not cut it right now. We're going to drill out all these spot tacks, and then this will fall off where you can cut this out easier, because if you start sticking a grinder in here and start trying to cut that, it's going to cut right up that wall. So we'll drill all these spot tacks out, drop this down because you're going to have to anyway. We'll get this little piece out right here. If there's one, there might be a spot tack here. And then we can drop this down. And then I'll make these cuts. Cut this little piece out right here, lay it to the side, and then this don't even matter. You don't have to worry about cutting none of this. That's why I got X's on them. So we're leaving those ears on there. Pretty much you'll measure back 8 inches to here. Draw your line, and then you'll come 8 inches from here, draw your next line. So this one, we will cut this all the way like this. Here we're going to cut all the way through, and then you're not going to cut all the way through here. You're just going to cut through that first layer. Take this piece off, and then there'll be a little ear left for like right here for this to slide up into. And then we'll drill out a couple spots right here and right here, and this will re-spot tack onto right here after we weld our little ear back in there. Once we weld a little ear in there, then we'll make it all lined up. We'll spot tack this all the way back on here. I mean, there you go. That's all you got to do. Then you ain't got a cut line all the way across on the back part. The front part, you can't get away from it. We'll take out the front pocket, and we'll make a line down there, and behind the pocket, and then we'll come down through there, and that's about the best you can do with the front. But this is the way to do the back, where you don't have a cut line and a bunch of body work to do. You just have to do this one little spot here, and that's about it. It ain't all V'd in either. So I'll get this cut out, and I'll get this welded back in, and I'll get it spot tapped back on, and I'll show you guys the final result on this part. Alright, you can see where I welded it back together, did all the spot tacks. So you don't got a big line right down the middle of your bedside. It's just really focused in this area right here. And that's really all you got on the inside, rather than, like I said, one big cut line all warped in. Only thing that's hard, you just got to take your time, is in these corners. I mean, you could probably back this up a little bit and do a line here like that further back. It's whatever you like. But yeah, I'm going to weld out the other side of this, and I'll show you the end result in this the back side on the other side. So I'll get that fit up now with my square blocks. I got some square blocks. We'll tighten those up, and I'll get this all welded up, and I'll show you end result for the back. Then we'll get back to the front. Alright guys, got the back done. Just kind of show you. The only remaining thing really is to do is to lay me a piece of tape, come straight across here, and level all that all out. I'll show you what that looks like done. But I mean, for the most part, that's just a skim of filler. Fill that back in with the paint. There ain't no really real nice. I know you can get a little thinner here. Take your time. You can make your line littler. Just takes a lot of time, and I do this for a living, and there's a lot of slow grinding, and I don't charge as much as the big guys do. And I do it the same way they pretty much do. But yeah, that's it on how to cut the back. Other than doing that last taper, I'll do that. And then I'm going to cut down this trim, which on the trim, let me grab it here, like 67, 68 is the easiest trim to cut. Pretty much you just see how they're done. Just cut off 8 inches off this piece of trim on the back, and it will come right back up to here like so. And it's really just a straight line cut. So lay it out, measure back 8 inches, cut it off. Front, same thing. Measure back 12 inches, cut it off. Clean it up, clean out the burrs off the back of this, and it'll look like factory. Alright, we'll get to the front here shortly. Alright, we're on to the front. So what we're going to do is you're going to measure down. Well, first off, you're going to measure over 4.5. Make some check marks. Or you can just come off the line off the back. That's what I do with your straight edge. And I just simply, where I already cut it, come up, come over, and then I'll set this in there just like so, and make my first starting mark. And then I'll lay it over on this, put it up in there, and draw my straight line. Lay up my first piece of tape. I come down 8 1/4. Make a couple check marks. Make your line. I come over 4.5 on this front lip to there, and then 2 3/4 to make your next mark. And so then after that, I just put my straight edge opposite, like so, and draw my next line. And then I lay everything out exactly the same. Make sure you make your marks here where you're going to cut it, because you will mess up, like I said before. And then I come over simply 12 inches and do the same thing over here. And once you cut it out, they come together like a puzzle piece. And then for the most part on this The reason I took the pocket out is because you can it'll get rid of a lot of the cut right here you can't see, and just set the pocket back over it and tack it back in, and then you won't see at least this much of the line, and all you'll have to see is from here down. So I'll get this all together, and then I'll do, we got the center pocket out down there, I just got to fill the hole, and I'll get it all together, all welded up both sides, the pocket filled, and then I'll come back with the final result video of it completely done, and show you guys what the whole bedside cut down looks like. And so I'll see you when I get it all welded up. Alright, we got the finished bed now. What it all looks like. Here's the back. Move to the front. Just a little skim of filler. And here's the center pocket. We got it filled in. So that's the overall. Take a little time. And if you guys don't feel like doing it yourself, you can hit me up at Coyote Customs. Look me up on Facebook, Coyote Customs and Auto Sales. And this is a wrap up the 67 to 72 bedside video, and I might make a video just for the marker light, how to go around that in the future. But I mean, it's pretty basic, but I might do it just for the shit and giggles. But all right, catch you guys later.